At the foot of the Central Alps, a deep silence hangs over the water just before dawn. The mist climbs slowly from the dark, quiet depths, clinging to the sheer stone cliffs that rise straight into the cool northern Italian air. If you stand along the shore at this hour, the only sound you hear is the gentle, rhythmic lap of water against ancient stone steps, a quiet pulse that has remained unchanged for thousands of years. This is a place where nature and human history have spent centuries learning to live together, creating a landscape that feels both impossibly dramatic and quietly intimate. Beneath the surface of the grand estates and the celebrated views lies a quieter reality, one defined by the people who call these steep shores home. This is the story of Lake Como. To understand this landscape, you must look at its unique shape, a giant, inverted Y carved deep into the Lombardy region of northern Italy. This distinctive form is the physical footprint of ancient glaciers that once flowed down from the high Alps, pushing through the Udder Valley and carving a trench so deep that its bottom sits far below sea level. For those who live along its shores, this geography defines everything. The lake divides the land into three distinct branches, the western arm leading toward the city of Como, the eastern arm running down to Lecco, and the wilder, quieter northern stretch that points toward the high mountain passes. Living here means adapting to a vertical world where the mountains meet the water with very little flat ground in between. The villages do not spread outward. Instead, they climb upward, their narrow stone alleys and steep stairways built directly into the rock face, creating a sense of living suspended between the earth and the sky. The lake acts as a massive thermal reservoir, creating a surprisingly gentle microclimate that defies its alpine setting. As you walk along the lower paths, you might find yourself surrounded by Mediterranean plants like olive trees, cypress, and laurel, growing comfortably just a short distance from snowy peaks. If you climb higher, leaving the mild shores behind, the landscape shifts rapidly into classic alpine territory. The olive groves give way to thick forests of chestnut and oak, which then transition into deep stands of fir and spruce, where the air grows cold and sharp. This vertical variety creates a rich sanctuary for wildlife, where red deer and agile chamois move through the upper crags, while predatory birds circle on the mountain updrafts. Below, in the cold, deep waters, a complex aquatic world thrives, keeping the natural balance of the lake alive through every season. Long before the visitors arrive, the day begins with the cool morning wind known locally as the Tivano. Blowing down from the north, this steady breeze ruffles the surface of the water, carrying the fresh scent of mountain pine and damp stone through the quiet streets. In the small kitchens of the lakeside villages, the day starts with the quiet hum of an espresso machine and the sound of wooden shutters being pushed open. Locals look out across the grey water, reading the movement of the clouds over the peaks to understand what the afternoon weather will bring. Down at the stone docks, a fisherman quietly prepares his boat, his movements slow and practiced, passed down through generations. He unties the lines and glides out into the quiet water, his small craft disappearing into the lingering morning mist. Behind the grand waterfront facades lies the real heart of the lake, the quiet, everyday neighborhoods where local families have lived for generations. Here, the rhythm of life is slow, measured by daily greetings at the local bakery and the quiet chatter of neighbors leaning out of upper-story windows. In these tight-knit communities, people share a deep understanding of what it means to live in an isolated landscape. Because the mountains make travel between villages slow, each small town has kept its own distinct character, its own dialect, and its own local pride. There is a quiet strength in these communities, built on mutual support and shared history. When the winter winds cut through the valleys and the tourists depart, the locals gather in small taverns and community spaces, keeping the warmth of their shared identity alive during the quietest months of the year. This lake has long been a place of quiet reflection, attracting those seeking peace and inspiration since the days of the Roman Empire. Under its ancient name, Laerius Lacus, it served as a retreat for writers and thinkers who found in its dramatic landscape a perfect setting for deep thought. Over the centuries, this appreciation for the landscape shaped the culture, leading to a unique architectural tradition where buildings were designed to complement, rather than dominate, the natural surroundings. Elegant villas and stone churches were carefully placed to blend into the steep slopes, creating a continuous dialogue between human design and the natural world. This cultural memory is kept alive not just in books, but in the physical landscape itself. Walk along the ancient paths, and you will find old stone shrines and quiet chapels that have watched over travelers for centuries, serving as small markers of a deep, historical spiritual journey. While the beauty of the lake suggests a life of leisure, the reality is built on a history of hard, skilled work. For centuries, the people of this region have been makers, using the limited resources of the mountains and the water to build a remarkably diverse local economy. In the valleys surrounding the lake, the historic silk industry still thrives, combining traditional craftsmanship with modern design. Local factories and workshops continue to produce some of the world's finest silk textiles, a proud heritage that has dressed generations of people around the globe. Beyond manufacturing, many locals make their living through traditional crafts, stone masonry, and small-scale agriculture on the steep mountain terraces. It is a demanding way of life, requiring physical resilience and a deep knowledge of the land, proving that the lake's beauty is supported by the hard work of its people. Living in a place of such immense beauty comes with its own complex realities. The global desire to own a piece of this landscape has driven property prices to levels that are increasingly out of reach for the younger generation of locals who wish to stay in their hometowns. The cost of maintaining these historic stone homes with their thick walls and challenging hillside access, can be a heavy burden. Simple tasks like repairing a roof or delivering groceries become complicated logistical projects when your home can only be reached by a series of steep, narrow steps. Behind the postcard views, local families must balance the high cost of everyday goods with the seasonal nature of much of the local economy. It is a delicate balancing act, requiring careful planning to ensure that the quiet winter months do not overshadow the busy summer season. The culinary heritage of the lake reflects the simple, honest flavors of a landscape where the mountains meet the water. Traditional dishes are designed to sustain and comfort, relying on fresh, locally sourced ingredients that tell the story of the seasons. Freshwater fish from the cold depths of the lake, such as delicate perch and whitefish, form the foundation of many traditional meals. Often served alongside a rich, slow-cooked polenta made from locally grown corn, these dishes connect diners directly to the natural cycles of the water. Commuting here has a unique rhythm, where the daily rush hour is experienced not in bumper-to-bumper traffic, but on the open water, watching the changing light on the cliffs as you travel between home and work. It is a lifestyle that encourages patience and a deeper connection to the natural environment. Despite its historic feel, the region is fully connected to the modern world, with high-speed internet and close ties to the major economic centers of Milan and nearby Switzerland. This balance of historic isolation and modern connectivity allows residents to enjoy a peaceful, quiet lifestyle while remaining active participants in the global economy. Their commitment to the land brings a fresh energy to these historic villages, ensuring that they remain active, living communities rather than static open-air museums. It is their passion and creativity that will shape the next chapter of the lake's long history. As the sun begins to sink behind the western peaks, the lake undergoes another quiet transformation. The daytime breeze fades away, and the water becomes perfectly still, reflecting the warm orange and violet tones of the evening sky like a vast mirror. This is the hour of the Brever's retreat, when the warm southern wind quiets down and the locals reclaim the waterfront. Families step out for a quiet evening stroll along the shore, their voices carrying softly over the calm water as the first streetlights begin to flicker on. There is a deep, comforting peace to these evenings, a quiet reminder of why people choose to call this place home. As the stars appear above the mountain ridges and the lights of the lakeside villages twinkle across the dark water, the world feels small, safe, and beautifully complete. Yet this beautiful region faces significant challenges that threaten the delicate balance of life along its shores. The changing climate has brought warmer winters and increasingly frequent, intense summer storms, causing landslides that can isolate lakeside communities in an instant. In 2024, record-breaking warm winter temperatures served as a stark reminder of these environmental shifts, raising concerns about the long-term health of the delicate microclimate that has supported the area's unique plants and agriculture for generations. At the same time, the pressures of intense global tourism strain the local infrastructure, crowding narrow roads, filling the quiet ferries, and testing the patience of those who must go about their daily lives amidst the crowds. Finding a way to welcome the world while protecting the quiet daily life of its residents is the great, ongoing challenge of this historic place. Why then do generations of families continue to choose this challenging, vertical landscape as their home? The answer is not found in the luxury villas or the famous visitors, but in a deep, quiet connection to the land and water that runs through their very identity. It is the feeling of belonging to a place where nature still sets the rhythm of your day, where the air is clean, and where you are surrounded by a supportive, tight-knit community that knows your name. It is the simple pleasure of watching the light change on the mountains through your kitchen window, a view that your ancestors enjoyed before you. Here, people have learned that a meaningful life is not about convenience, but about connection to history, to nature, and to each other. They stay because they understand that this dramatic, challenging landscape has shaped who they are, offering a sense of peace and belonging that is increasingly rare in the modern world. In the quiet hours of the night, when the visitors have gone and the lake is left to the mountains and the stars, you begin to realize that this place has a unique way of slowing down time. It encourages you to step away from the constant rush of modern life and simply observe the quiet, enduring beauty of the natural world. The true beauty of Lake Como is not found in the grandeur of its estates, but in its ability to remind us of what really matters: the warmth of community, the comfort of tradition, and the deep peace that comes from living in harmony with a landscape that has stood the test of time. It teaches us that home is not just a place where we live, but a landscape that we carry within our souls. As you watch the mist rise once again from the dark water, you carry with you a new understanding of what it means to live a life shaped by the water and the stone, a quiet reminder of the enduring power of home. If you had the opportunity to step away from the fast pace of modern life, could you see yourself embracing the vertical, quiet rhythm of a lakeside village? Which aspect of life on Lake Como, the deep connection to nature, the rich history, or the tight-knit community, resonated with you the most? What do you think truly gives a place the deep, comforting feeling of home? Thank you for journeying with us to the quiet shores of Lake Como. If this exploration of its landscapes, people, and traditions has brought you a moment of peace and inspiration, please consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and sharing it with others who appreciate the quiet beauty of our world.